Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Through the Fire. I am your host, Ryan Wickline, and today we are joined by a very special guest. She is a keynote speaker for No Longer Leading with Your Wounds and a life coach, Ms. Hilary Momberger Powers. How you doing today, Hilary?
I am doing awesome. How are you? I'm good. I'm
I'm
I'm I'm I'm in life today. There you go.
I'm doing great. It's great to have you here.
Awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate you inviting me. I am Yeah, it was funny. You're like, who should you it's funny because you think who should you what's your title? And you know, I got away with shit, almost died, and I'm still here. That's my title.
That's what I said when we were talking. We have a lot of similarities that we've both been through.
Right. Yeah. You can't judge a book by its cover. And we're so immediate to look at someone and say, oh, well, they couldn't have gone through what I've gone through. And because our sight is the first thing we make judgment on. We don't even listen to half the thing people say. I mean, look at we're like on the TikTok world or the Instagram. It's like 30 seconds. I'm out. Next. So it's like, and then you kind of wonder why you can't get through things and you can't change and you can't shift and you can't grow is because I don't even make myself enough important enough to listen to some advice until I'm so sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I've utilized all my shenanigans, and I'm going to call it that, because usually people who've been through a lot, like yourself and it builds a character. At first some people stay in the world, victimese. That's what I call a characteristic. Hi, I suffer from victimese. Or they go into, I don't need anybody, I got this. And we vacillate so much. And when I'm a victim, I can't hear anything because I got to remain in my role. And if I listen to you, I can't be a victim anymore. And then when I'm a badass and I got this, I can't listen, because if I listen, I'm going to appear, because remember we judge, to being a vulnerable, a weak human being. And, when you grow up in trauma, you don't want to be weak. You can't be seen weak anymore, you know? Um, so yeah, that's kind of a roundabout way of saying, I've gone through a lot, and I'm going to continue because I'm still on this adventure called life. Bingo. You
Yes,
know,
you are.
there's always going to be something coming up around the corner. I'm just not as surprised anymore that something's coming around the corner. I know it's coming, but I'm not ready for Friday and going, already. I just know it's coming. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you always got to be on guard and ready to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. That's like, oh, ready for Freddy, baby. Ready for Freddy. I remember I'm in the fellowship, which I can't see anything, so it's probably a good thing. Hey, wow, I don't know. I'm in the fellowship, and I my sponsor one time, she said, "Who are you talking to in the shower?" I'm like, "My boss. Is he in there?" Because I'm preparing. I'm doing this whole dissertation. How dare you speak to me like that? Don't you know I deserve a raise or a little? And it's funny because I'm already prepping to have doom and gloom. And I spent my life a long, long time like that until, I'm grateful I found God, a power greater than me, other than me. I would say other than me, because I could be pretty powerful. I can blow your life up like that. I'm a woman, so I could really destroy your life, right? Um, but yeah, I grew up in a very fractured, emotionally vacuous, meaning there wasn't a lot of love, there wasn't a lot of attention. There were 7 kids. There was a lot of mouths to feed, as my mother used to say. And when you have a mother who's ego driven, whatever the new flavor word is, narcissist, I just say fat headed and all about her, which I identify with. How weird. because when I'm in my pity, I'm fat-headed and it's all about me. But I grew up in this crazy world where, when your parents or when someone in your ecosystem is drinking, there's uncertainty. I don't know if you experience that. I'm sure you have. There's a lot of uncertainty in life. I don't know what they're going to be, what mood they're going to be in, what's going to happen, if there's going to be a fight, if there's going to be blood, if there's going to be abuse, if there's going to be sexual abuse. Like, you just don't know. And when unfortunately, our climate in our world today has got so much of that going on. The person that said, I had a great child, my mother loved me and my father loved me, is almost like Leave It to Beaver. Man, that's a rerun. Can we try to find it on, like Cartoon Channel, because it's not real, So I grew up in this family. I'm no different than the person down the street. But when you are a little girl or a little child, it's got to be about you, because I'm just sucking up. I'm a sponge, and I know, don't trust people, hurt people. They're gonna get you. Lie, be cute, do whatever you say, and then when those things don't work, then I turn like a snake. And I'm not saying that out of pride. I'm saying that because all my devices stop working. And then I go through another catacomb of kind of like from the caterpillar to the butterfly. Then I become an alcoholic in my early teens, and then I take on a new characteristic. So anyhow, my keynote is about no longer leading with your wound. So can I talk about trauma? Do you have any questions? I feel like I'm just like,
yeah, I do have a couple questions for you, because you gave us a lot to unpack there.
yeah.
Like, how did you end up with the role of Sally Brown in the Peanuts
Oh, I love
cartoon?
that. Okay. Yeah, that's always like, how did you end up in being this icon to being homeless and selling pots and pans in Compton? Oh, it was an interesting ride.
I bet it was.
Oh my God, it didn't. Yeah, there was a lot of shame involved in that one. Lots of shame. Boy, I had a lot of shame to work through. So my mother was a New York Jackie Gleason girl. You're way young, but your older listeners would know Jackie Gleason was like he was like a late night television comedian. And these beautiful women, my mother was just gorgeous, would stand there and go, and here's Jackie. And her dream was to become famous. But it was in like the 30s or the 40s. And my mother was going to be a school teacher and have children and be the good little girl. So she gave up this dream. And I'm sure there was sexual abuse in her home, and there was lots of alcoholism throughout her family upbringing. And she lived in the city, and she was very spoiled, and she was told no. And I've been to Walmart. We see when spoiled children are told no. We know what happens. Aisle 5 on the ground screaming. Yeah. So that's what my mother did. And so she got a brilliant idea that when I was raised in California, that she would take all us kids down to Hollywood and we would try to be famous so she could vicariously live through us. And we became her vehicle to build her ego up, to hopefully satisfy that unsatisfiable mind. And it never worked because, I got my first role. It was like, I met Charlie Brown. I met Charles Schulz and Bill Melendez, and it was just fun. And I couldn't wait to go back because I'm a people person. And it was like new friends. And of course, there was lots of candy. So I'm in. So I was 5 and 6, and Thanksgiving, actually Thanksgiving special was my first job. Yeah. So it was, a long time ago. So yeah, that was the first of many. I became Doll Voices, Mattel, Hanna-Barbera, cartoons, 50s commercials all growing up, specials with Buddy Greco, and I still do stuff a little bit today. I do it for fun and not as a drive. Does that make sense? Now I'm
Yeah.
just like, if I get it, great. If I don't, whatever. So it was pretty crazy. My brothers and sisters did some things, but I look like Shirley Temple. The ringlet hair
Yeah.
and the blue eyes and the, chubby cheeks and yeah, I hated the way I looked, but it was profitable, as my mother said.
Why did you and so many other people in Hollywood, like the younger stars, turn to drugs and alcohol?
Well, I mean, that's a loaded question. Was it the chicken or the egg? Was it the environment, or was it hereditary? Was it at home? Was it because I was, I mean, I couldn't read, Ryan. I couldn't read until I was 11 years old because I was gone on auditions all the time. And my brother used to sit, my older brother who passed away from AIDS, he used to sit and play the piano, and he said, I'll play some more if you read for me. So he had to, kind of get me out of that. But I was just told as a kid, here's your lines, say this. Now, can you imagine a kid being told what to say, think, act, feel? So once you remove yourself from this world that's living for you through your eyes, through your feelings, through your thoughts, through your actions, because you're just being told who to be, got this mask on. And then all of a sudden you're like in the real world and people are like, I don't give a shit, move. You're my parking space. You're no longer like, oh, it's you. So that's a big, that's a trauma thing. When I talked about the trauma, when a traumatic event happens, and it doesn't have to be, I was an actor and I lost my job at 12 and 13, decided to go destroy myself. It was, you could have a sibling die or a parent leave or your mother and father get a divorce. That creates a response to where you're going to pick three roles. You're going to be a loner, which is very much what you did. You get high, you check out. There's the loner. You're going to be a people pleaser, which a lot of girls do. You like me. Oh, here's my body. Here's my, what do you want? Okay. You like me now. You like me now. Are you my daddy? Are you my daddy? Or it's my joke. Or you go to the controller, which becomes the bully. The one who's got to make sure everybody's okay. You're saying the right things. You're acting the right way. That is a trauma response to something not right going on in your home. And so when you get into this habit of leading with that wound, like if someone says, Ryan, take your hat off, you're like, you go into, okay. Like, where'd that come from? Your dad who smacked you in the head 15 times. I don't know. I'm just making up scenarios. You can tell me to shut up, but I'm just, you're my audience today. So, or was it these? But all I know is anything that puts back in my mind, reminds me of that event, I go into, that's why soldiers have PTSD. Because you're not living in today. Anything that reminds gets put back in your mind, like you hear backfire. You hear somebody yell at you. Someone goes into crazy mode. And then all of a sudden he goes into soldier stance. And that's trauma response. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how can I branch that into, well, by the time I was 12 and 13, I'd stopped. And good girl turned bad. Because as far as I was concerned, I wasn't worth anything anymore because my worth was contingent on how much money I made mom. And I was not producing anymore. So my principle, which we talk about in AA and the 12 steps, principle is the truth I live by. That principle was, I'm not worth anything anymore unless I give you all my money, my time, my body, everything. If you just take everything, I'm not worthy of life. I call that my elevator music. It's just in the back of my head, just going, you're a piece of crap, Hilary. You're never going to get anywhere. You failed. Why are you trying? You should go get loaded again. You know, oh, doesn't that beer look good? That's your trauma response, right?
Yeah.
So that's when you can pause and go, dude, what's going on in my life right now that I'm going back to my roots? Does that make sense?
Yeah. What was your rock bottom moment that showed you that you had to quit?
You know, I was, God, the first time I overdosed, I was 13, 14 on Percocets. Because my book is called Peanuts to Percocet, Notes on a Hollywood Childhood. Cute, huh? It's a catchy title. My friend's like, what's penis? I said, no, peanuts. We could have threw that in there too, but I didn't. Oh, just kidding. I do stand up. Bear with me. I'm caustically funny. Ha ha. So yeah. So when I left home, so my mother was married to West Point dad. They got a divorce. She met a guy who was a chemist, and he learned how to cook speed in 1970, 1972, 1973. And he taught all these people in California how to cook speed, AKA meth. Yay, go family tree. I'm so proud of my family. We're so accomplished. So all of a sudden, here I am, this like childhood actress who now I'm nobody. And my mom goes after this junkie, drug addict. And which lifestyle do you think I picked? The one I had to be somebody or the one I could get rid of somebody?
Yeah, sure to the drugs.
Yeah, that's it. That was it. That became, it wasn't I got loaded because I liked the feeling. I got loaded because I was just done. It took me away from anything that resembled me because I hated myself so much. I felt like such a failure and I couldn't do anything right. And I let so many people down. And it's just all in my self-centered head. And AA, we say we're driven by 100 forms of fear or selfish and self-centered. Oh, I'm so self-centered. Not because I want to be, because I don't know where to go. I don't know how to ask for help. So I got to come up with all the answers. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. There's my controller. I go from people pleaser to figure it out. And then you never get the dose right. So you start overdosing more. And my rock bottom, the first time, because, unfortunately, getting sober is not a one-time event. Sober is soundness of the mind. I can be a little crazy. And I went out after many years. But I was sitting on a fire escape in Venice. I was 21 years old. I had just did something girls aren't supposed to do because she doesn't take care of her body. And I hated myself. And I went into a grand mal seizure on a fire escape in Venice. And I looked up. I was like, whoa, what's happening in my body? And I looked up and I said, that prayer, if there's a God, help me. And it stopped. And I would love to say, and then I went down the red carpet and that was it. Right? No way,
Yeah.
dude.
It doesn't work that way.
No way. And I love people, they think, can we just hurry up and get through this? That's what I'm wondering too. We're all in the same boat together. Right? Yeah. So, so it was crazy. And that got me on this road. And I met a guy on a street corner in Venice and Washington. And Amity Way, what was that? Washington and Speedway. And he was really cute. See, I like the boys too. It's not that I like the boys. I want the boys to save me. I need a rescue because I was rescuing the family. Now I need you to rescue me. Men do that too. I always say, dude, stop being Captain Save-A-Ho. It ain't going to work.
Yeah.
Right? There's the codependency. So I look up and I see this tall, gorgeous guy who was Irish. He was Mr. World Universe in Ireland. And I met him at a party one time and he looks at me and he goes, God, Hilary, you look terrible. No, I'm like, oh, thank you. He says, man, he goes, you look really bad. You want to come into an AA meeting with me? Now, Ryan, what do you think my mind heard?
Pretty much, you want to come hang out with me? Go out on
Right,
a
be
date?
my girlfriend and love
Yeah.
with me. Yeah. I was like, sure, I'll go. And that's how I got hooked into AA. It was like, and then I never saw him again for like a year. He like dodged me every time I call. He wouldn't pick up the phone. I was like, dude, but that was the kindest thing he did because I got introduced to a life that I still, some days I go, I can't believe it's such a great community, you know. But what has happened for me over the years, I've had lots of stuff happen. Like my dad put a gun to his head. My mother died homeless. My brother died of AIDS. My sister died of an overdose. And I've had a lot of fractures in my family, and I've been poor, I've been rich, I've been raped a few times, I've been beaten up, I've placed myself in so many positions to be hurt because I didn't really have any guidance. I just thought I had to figure it out. And we live in a world where, and I don't like using other people, but since we're on a platform where people are open to this, we live in a world where we think we got to know everything. And I don't know who told us that. Like, it's okay to not know. It's okay to say, hey, can you help me out? It was hard for me because I was a masculine character as a kid. I had to support my family. So I can understand. I can't say I know how you feel, Ryan, but I know that masculine side that goes, I gotta take care of everybody, but I can't even figure my own life out. What am I
Yeah.
doing? It's so much pressure. Until what do? I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm out. So what I have learned how to do is I've learned how to deal with my trauma. I go to AA meetings. I have a community of friends. I sleep. I try to eat good. And I'm not good at it all the time, but at least I make an attempt in the day I'm in. And I have a great relationship with the God that I don't even understand. And for the lack of, I call him God because I'm not God. I don't call him Hilary anymore. Oh God, Hilary, what are you going to do? I'm like, who are you talking to? Me, because I think I'm God. So so if you think of a triangle, right? So this may be really helpful. Just kind of write it, do a little triangle. The top one is you're the loner. This one is you're the controller. And this one is you are the people pleaser. That's your three people. You bounce from boom, 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 boom. I'm in the middle, but I'm getting spun out because I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm in charge at work, but when I go home, I get beat up. You're the man outside of work, but when you go home, the girl you're with calls you every name in the book. And you're like, I know it's my fault. I know everything's my fault. And you're like, okay, or you go ahead and then you say, I'm out of here. You go to the bar and you're like loaded again. So you're going back and forth. So what I've learned how to do is God was so awesome to give us 6 senses: seeing, tasting, touching, hearing, and smelling. And then that little sixth sense that we go to God with, we're like, I don't know if you're here, dude, but can you help me right now? My mind is on crack. It's telling me things. Can you quiet my mind? And so I do little stuff like that. Well, if you can, in order for me to stay safe, the first time I went to an AA meeting, something happened. It was quieter. Nobody was drinking. Like you said, you got to remove yourself from those people when you're in that state. So I had to seeing, tasting, I'm not drinking, touching. People were patting me on the back saying, it's nice to see you here. I'm like, really? Oh, that's weird. Seeing, tasting, touching, people give me a hug and, and feeling so I could respond back to people. Seeing, tasting, touching, hearing, smelling. I'm no longer in this bar pot all over the place, that kind of like things have stabilized. Now I start to feel like I feel safe today. And once I get the stabilization, you can do this in the day that you're in. So Ryan, when you said I felt like drinking, it's like, get the 5 senses out, dude. Have you drinking enough water today? That's huge. You know how big that is?
Yeah, it's the little things.
Remember when your mom used to say, "Oh, honey, do you need a bottle?" Right? Does somebody need a nap? Does somebody need something to eat? You want a cookie? So if you think of those, that's why in kindergarten, which I never went to, you get those simple 101. Take a nap. You tired? Take a nap. Oh, take your shoes off, lay down, get something to eat, go give your friend a hug, play with your friend. Like those are like simple. But when you're cutting and going and you're in your disease and you're ready for Freddy and you're like, Rambo, ready to get high, you're figuring it out. You don't have your senses are so right. So it's learning to, and the great thing is when you have a coach and you have or a friend or a sponsor or a mentor that they can hold. It's such a weird, like crunchy, hold space. It sounds so stupid. It's like, what is this? Public storage? No, I mean, they can be there with you while you allow yourself to stabilize. And once I get to that stabilization, then I can get into a community. And what happens when we're in community? Like you're having podcasts. What do you feel? People like me.
Yeah.
They can't wait to see me. They watch me every week. I'm not asking for you to fix my insides. I'm just, what's going on inside is now being projected. I kind of like myself. I feel good. I'm showing up on time. I'm kind. I'm not calling you names. All of a sudden, that builds my community, and it builds my self-esteem, builds my self-worth. I'm not depending on my outsides. I'm projecting my insides to my outsides. And when I get to that place, when I start acknowledging that, I'm no longer a piece of, you're nothing. I do things like, instead of me dropping a glass, I don't go, you idiot, which is my old school. I just go, oopsie, it's okay, honey, it's just a glass. Like, go back to basics. So I have power to stabilize myself. And once I get to that place, then I can go get a job. I can get productive. And once I extend myself out in the community, I get to be of service. Then I get to share my story. I get to bear my wounds. I get to tell you, I'm not perfect, and I'm okay with that. You don't, you'll like this. You're a dude. I always say, I'm a Cadillac. Okay. I hit bottom, overdosed, right? Hit bottom. My Cadillac came in with pop tires. My rims are screwed up. The paint is screwed up. The windows are broken. Interior's all messed up. I don't have gas. I don't have oil. I don't have transmission fluid, but I want to hurry up and go. Hello, right? Right? That's you getting sober, right? Well, guess what? I want to be a Porsche. Get that? My whole life, I wanted to be a Porsche, but I'm not a Porsche. I'm a Cadillac. So luckily, I surround myself with people of my likeness, meaning they're not Cadillacs. They're just getting that they need to clean up their own vehicle. So I start getting better. I start staying sober longer. When I feel like getting high, I don't. That's like changing the windshield. I start seeing things differently. Get it?
Yeah.
I start all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, I'm bringing in nice people. Like I'm dating good girls. I don't know if you're there yet, or if you're like, that's like, I'm cleaning up my interior, man. I'm fixing my interior. That's a good thing. I'm no longer living on Red Bulls. I'm like, hey, I think I need some water and maybe a protein shake. Oh, then I'm putting gas in my car. I'm putting oil in my car. I should probably sleep more. Like you start seeing that. And then I get to be the best, most tuned up, pristine Cadillac ever. And today I no longer want to be a Porsche because I don't want to be anybody else. I just want to be the best Hilary possible. And if I can show people how to do that, man, God, use me. Help me be of service for someone other than me or my mother, even though she's passed, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll pause. I'm long-winded.
You now help people in recovery, right?
Oh, totally. Oh, hell yeah. And
Can you tell
outside.
us about that journey and what it's like to give back now?
Dude, it's so crazy. I mean, when you were saying that you felt like drinking, man, those are those times I pick up the phone and I get out of my fat head and I go, hey, how are you doing? And instead of going, yeah, me too, blah, 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 because I want to throw up on them, I just listen. That's a hard one to practice when you're so used to being in your head because all you're listening to is you. So, yeah, I just think if this is the last thing I do, because I've been an actor, I went to nursing school, I went to art school. I was a waitress at a cafe for years. I went to UCLA, became a script supervisor. I worked behind the camera. I produced things. I've acted. I'm in a movie right now called Brittany Lost Her Phone. By the way, it's a comedy. It's funny. It's silly. And then, I've done all that stuff. And, I was working on movies. And when I moved, I thought, you know what, God, I think I'm in a change again. Can you please be with me? Help me go through this change of my own season. And, I was at a film festival in Florida. And this woman who was hanging up balloons, because I've been taught the most amazing human beings are the ones you don't think are amazing. And this woman was just hanging out balloons and not particularly anything pretty, but she was just doing her job. And instead of talking to all these actors and blah, 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 I listened to this woman and she said, I'm a psychologist at a university. And would you like to come speak to my graduating class? I was like, wow, odd or God? And that's the trajectory that's happened. And I thought, all right, God, if this is my last hurrah, please help me make an impact, help me be of service, help me help as many people as you see fit. Help me do your will, not mine, not so I can look good and gather. I want to leave something before I'm out of here because I can't take anything with you, So,
Yeah.
so it's awesome. I take women through the big book and the Tebow papers and the 12 and 12 and I do a lot of different modalities because I've read every life, spiritual, quantum physics books. I'm just hungry. I
Well,
want to
that's
know.
what it kind of like when you start getting sober and you start feeling God in your life. I mean, I know me personally, people thought I was crazy because I started diving into stuff so deep, but they didn't
Right.
understand that was the only way I could fight my demons.
Yeah, you have to, a terrarium. You know what a terrarium is?
Yeah.
Remember, you're in kids they got this little, this what a fish tank, and they put a top on it and they put all this moss in. It only grows as if it's closed and contained. But once you get sober and you start exposing this, that's how it dies. And once it dies off, you want to put something else inside of it. No longer the crap you were growing. But once you get sober and you go to God, it's like he lightens that top off, and all of a sudden it's exposed. The sun kills it, which is the power of God, light. And then we get hungry. It's like, what else can I learn? How else can I? Because we get hungry. If I don't stay thirsty for peace and sobriety, dude, I'm going to get thirsty for that drink again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what led you to and inspired you to become a motivational speaker?
Ah, you're so cute. Well, obviously, I have the gift of gab. Thank you, God. I used to get it was funny because I still do a lot of auditions and stuff, and I still book commercials and stuff like that, but it's just something to do. It's not like, oh, pick me, pick me. I'm like, I'm already picked. I'm good. I got this. But when I'm acting, unless it's something fun and you're playing like the movie Brittany Lost Her Phone, it's like fun. We had so much fun on this movie, but I spent so long putting a mask on, like I said, and being what I thought you wanted me to be. And I learned how to speak well and, and enunciate and project my voice and all these things. But it wasn't like I was me. I was playing a part. And the wonderful thing about motivating and being a keynote speaker is I'm just going to be Hilary. And I don't have to think about what to say. I don't have to come up with the right thing or they smile or if I stand this, I just get to be. And as a result of that, I get to help a lot of people and piss people off too, because a lot of people don't like what I say. A lot of people want to live in a bubble. That's okay. God bless you. Go, daddy, go. But it's just it's the next indicated step. It's like, okay, Ryan, how'd you become a podcaster? Right? Next indicated step. Yeah. It's like, how can I add to the world? So it becomes an altruistic event instead of that selfish and self-centered pick me shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how important is it getting a person to upgrade their mindset when you're sitting there on stages?
Oh my God. Well, when you're sitting behind the camera and you're working 16 hours a day, you got to constantly go, okay, today's the best day ever. How do I do that? That's when I started really getting into reading these quantum physics and trying to change your thoughts and, don't let the outsides affect your insides, it's, if you make, I like to say that my life has to be the most important thing to me, not my living. That's not what I do in my house and where I live. And if I get a new car ever again, or if not, that's my living. It's my inside life has to be the most important thing. So if I'm not getting fueled by, if I'm in the same job and I'm like, oh God, yeah, here we go again, Groundhog Day, right? We all go through that. I'm waiting for my outside life living to make my inside life better. And it's my job to do that. So I'll do things like I'll write a gratitude list. Thank you. I love this job. Thank you for the job. Look at it's provided me. I'm helping. And I start writing and I start finding the pony and the horse shit is what I say, the good stuff out there. Because I'm so picking it apart of what I don't have and what's not enough. And when you're in an environment where everybody has to be on, that's not sustainable on this.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to find a reason why I'm not good enough. And it's always that elevator music for me. And yours may be different than mine. I don't know. That's your journey to figure out. It sounds like you have picked stuff apart and how, you probably know what your keynote is, it's like,
Yeah.
right.
Well,
And
it's so funny you should talk about that because that was one of the worst things for me was like learning to upgrade that mindset was getting it, them voices in my head to stop. The angst, that constant turning in your head, like, can I do this?
right.
Those limiting beliefs, like, what if you can't do it? What if you fail? That's not done perfect enough,
Right.
Those little things, the perfectionism, it was all those little things. And now, like, I went from doing that work to now I help kids that are athletics and help them upgrade their mindset.
Oh, that's amazing. Isn't that nice how you've taken your mess and made it a message, as they say?
Yeah. I mean, that's all God's glory, not my own.
Oh, totally. Because I can't even get out of bed half the time. I mean, I can't even figure anything out. And I'm like, I didn't create this stuff. That's why, for me, I will go to that. When you get into, you get the vibrational, lower vibration is angry, higher vibration is enlighten. It lightens you up. Enlighten, I want to be lightened up. So I want to go to happy thoughts because I feel lighter, right? So when I sit down and write things like, I am, thank you for, and I'm not thanking the world. I'm thanking this creative, all creative I call God, Lord, Jesus. I go there. Sometimes I'm like, dude, what's up, dad? What's up? Why am I here? Are you kidding me again? But I have a great relationships where I can go, oh yeah, right. Okay, you want it at your altar? Come and get it, dude. I'm holding on to it a little bit more, but so that's exhausting, but I gotta want to feel better more than feel like crap. It's got to be the 51%. And that's why if I can do the simple seeing, tasting, touching, hearing, smelling, stabilizing, then it slows the noises, the head. You're not going to do it. You're not enough. Why are you trying? And then I go to the sixth sense. I go, God, can you please quiet my mind? Please protect me from my thoughts. They're hurting me. Dad, they're hurting me. Please protect me. So I am responsible for the five senses. God is responsible for the sixth. But I got to stabilize so I can even hear him, see him, smell him, taste him, whatever, feel him. I can't feel him when I'm in, right?
Yeah.
You're like, dude, shut up. And you're hitting your head. It's like, okay, that's going to make you feel better. Hello, newsflash. Yeah. Yeah.
What daily practices do you do to keep you grounded?
Well, I have a little morning practice. First thing I do is I do not leave my bed until I said two prayers. First of all, I don't open my eyes because once I open my eyes, I'm already out. I'm in the world. So I lay there and I think about I just say things like, today's the best day ever. So I start pre-paving it in my mind. So I'm going to start from there instead of, oh no, it's Monday, right? I was like, okay, now you're going to match everything you just said. Because the universe doesn't say here, good, bad. It just, my life sucks. Oh, here her life sucks. Let's bring her everything that she just professed from her mouth. Power of the sword is word. The power of your, you better watch what you say. So I lay in bed and I say things like, thank you, God. I love my sheets. This feels so good. And then I think about things that I like or want that has already happened. Like it's the best. Today was the best day. Like I trick myself because I go from conscious, unconscious, subconscious. That's where the Holy Spirit lives. That's where the power lies. But I got to be out of here and be kind of in between the subconscious and the unconscious. So I don't open my eyes because I'm still in that coming to state. And then I say the Our Father, and I say it really slow, and I make it make sense to me instead of, amen, right? I just go, Our Father. Oh, all of our Father who art in heaven. Now, the other word for heaven is heart. It's another word for heaven. That's where my heaven is in my heart. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, meaning you're amaze balls. So I make it sense. Thy kingdom come, meaning the way you want your life, your living situation comes before mine. Thy will be done. My actions, when you show up in my life, I need to have actions to show up in my life. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, out here, as it is in heaven in my heart. Give me this day my daily bread. Now, bread isn't just food. It's wisdom, it's love, it's friends, it's family, it's sobriety. Give me my daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. I'm going to make a mistake, but forgive those who trespass against me. They're going to make a mistake. Help me forgive them, God. Help me be like you. For thine is the power, the glory forever and ever. And so I do that really slow. So I get it. This is all before I open my eyes. And then I put the armor of God on. Daddy. Yeah. I put the belt of truth, which is for me. Please help me have discernment about what's happening in the news, what's happening in the world, what's happening, Lord. Please show me what's real for me. The breastplate of righteousness. It's like, God, help me be the woman you wanted me to become. Help me represent, help me be the only big book or Bible anybody ever looks at. Help me be what you want me to be. And then I put the shield of faith. I call that my keep the, you're going to laugh at this. Please protect me from RF rays, please, from my electromagnetic frequency. Please protect me, and then put the helmet of salvation. Quiet my thoughts, God. Please quiet my thinking. And then I put the shods of peace. Help me walk kind and loving. Help me be a good woman. Help me be nice today. Can you help me be nice, God? And then I go, and I'm going to talk about you and think about you all day. There's my power of the word. So that's
nice.
what I do. That is my every single day. My husband will say, Hilary, I go, like, dude, you don't come first. He comes first. He's like, what? Yeah. So
what would you tell someone who thought it was too late to start a new chapter in life?
Oh my God, it's just the beginning of a new experience. Yippee. Just think you're wiser. Isn't that great? You're so much wiser now. Now you don't have to walk in going, what do I do? Where do I go? I talk about having hope, and it's just not like, oh, maybe one day, because that hurts when someone says, I hope they call. I hope I get that job. That doesn't feel good to me. I already have hope in me. That's my inside life. Like, I was born to not just do one thing. So if you're going through a time when you're, I was going to do a little Instagram about this, because it's like, I get this all the time, but I'm going through a change. I'm never going to get anywhere. What are you talking about? You just came from somewhere. Hello. Right. So if you were born, when I became a nurse, I thought I was going to be a nurse for the rest of my life, or a masseuse for the rest of my life, or an actor for the rest of my life. I have given myself permission to go back into my hope chest and pull out something else that might please me, where I could be loving and kind to my brothers and sisters. And if I look at it like that, like, I'm wiser now, meaning I don't take the job just because I need the money, because that's never going to satisfy me. It's never going to be enough. You're going to see some guy pull up to your work with a bigger truck, and you're like, oh, dude, I shouldn't have taken this job. But if I go with the intentions of, you know what, this makes me feel good. And when I feel good, I do better and I'm more productive. I think I want to go for that. Can you please help me? And then I ask for help from God. Open the doors. Send me someone to guide me. Send me somebody. Can you help me, Dad? It's amazing. There's so much. When they say there's no resources out there, right? There's not enough. I can't get money. Go to God first. That's the man who made the trees, who made the money. That's where paper came from. He gave it. Bitcoin, he made the earth. Hello. If you start, go to your source.
Yeah. Great advice right there. How can people get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me if you want me to come keynote speak, either at, I do colleges and anything, facilities, colleges, retreats, like women's retreats, stuff like that. You can book me, or if you just want to talk, or maybe either I can, coaching's my secondary, but if not, I can help you and direct you. It's bookhilarypowers.live. You can always go on my website, Hilary Momberger, Momberger, powers.com. You can get me there. I'm on Instagram too. I'm old, but I can figure it out. Okay. I'm trying to get into
Yeah, and I'll add all that stuff. I'll even add all that stuff to the show notes too, so everybody can get a hold of you. Awesome. Is there anything we haven't covered that you want to talk about?
I want to talk about commitment just for a second. Because commitment's a scary word. It's a scary word for men. It's a scary word for women. I know that when I commit to just doing one relationship, or one friend, or one job, or one food, or if I just commit one day at a time, one moment at a time, it's easy. Because I've been meeting a lot of younger men and women who they don't want to commit. They don't know what the world's going to be like. So they don't want to, they're like done. They just want to, I'm waiting for the big bang or whatever's going to happen. And there's nothing more unstable as to not allowing yourself to be okay in the day you're in. So if you're at a place that you're having a tough time committing to anything, because we live in such a crazy world, if I told you it's a part of the movie, that this is just one of the scenes, and I promise you it's going to pass, you're going to get solidified, and there's some good stuff up ahead, just go with that. Because that's how we help one another in community. We encourage to keep going. And once you keep going, then your Cadillac gets better and better because you keep thinking, I just want a Porsche. So that's
Great advice. All right, final question. What is one piece of advice you'd like to leave our listeners with about overcoming adversity?
Oh my God, buckle up, Buttercup. I am going to say that the good news is nothing lasts forever. The bad news is nothing lasts forever. But there's one thing that does last forever. That's your connection with something other than you. And I would say connect with that. And it won't be so scary out here because you're going to be living in here safe.
I completely agree with that.
Awesome.
Well, Hilary, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your insight and your story.
Cool. Thank you for inviting me. Now I can see. Hey, there you are. What's up, buddy? That's a great thing about getting older. I look in the mirror and I go, I don't see any. I'm like, God, I don't have any wrinkles. That looks good. And then I go, who's that? But you know what? Rule 62, don't take yourself so serious, buddy.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's going to be all the time we have here today. Remember, the only way to get what you want is go through the fire.
Go, baby.